Hello everybody, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known BrightShine. They're right here in the city of Memphis. It's in the county sheriffs in the state of Tennessee. Today's date is early Monday morning, November the 6th, 2017 time, 4:55 a.m. First, I thank all my family, my support for your continued encouragement and support. I'll continue to keep myself employed right here in the Memphis tri-state area. I'll continue to further my education, moral college, online, pursuing my associate degree, studying business administration, concentration mark. And what I'm gonna do right now, first, our thoughts and prayers with the families and friends, and with this nation, as well as just people all over the world. Had an incident in Texas yesterday, and I'm gonna go ahead and do my intro, and then we're gonna take a moment of silence. And hello everybody, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis. It's in the county sheriffs in the state of Tennessee. Today's date is early Monday morning, November the 6th, 2017 time, 4:57 a.m. First, I thank all my fans, my support for your continued encouragement and support. And we always give thanks to God. Put God first. We always thank God for all His blessings and His guidance. And we had an incident right here in the United States of America, in the state of Texas. And our thoughts and prayers with friends, family, with this nation and people around the world. And we want to just take a moment of silence to pray and reflect on this incident and things of nature. About 30 seconds, I got a clock right here. So take a moment of silence, about 30 seconds. gonna do right now, do my Facebook Live. Hello everybody, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis, in the county chambers, in the state of Tennessee. Today date, early Monday morning, November the 6th, 2017, time 5:05 a.m. First, say thank to all my fans, my support, for your continued encouragement and support. First, we had an incident here in the United States of America, in the state of Tennessee, yesterday on Sunday, and our thoughts and prayers with friends and family, and with this nation as well as people around the world. And we want to take just a moment of silence, about 30 seconds, and I got my little clock on the video recorder to watch, so about 30 seconds, a moment of silence. Now, as you know, African traditional religion is being taught at institutions higher learning, meaning college and university. In sub-Saharan Africa, you can earn a bachelor's degree, you can earn a PhD studying African traditional religion. And one of the books we're going to continue to read from referred to as titled West African Traditional Religion, written by Dr. Joseph Omasei Walelu and Dr. P. Adelumo Tupemu. Another book we're going to continue to read from referred to as titled African Traditional Religion and Definition, written by Dr. E. Baloja Adowu. Another book we're going to continue to read from referred to as titled African Religion and Philosophy, written by Dr. John S. M. Beatty. Another book we're going to continue to read from referred to as titled Concepts of God in Africa, written by Dr. John S. M. Beatty. Now, as you know, the United States government, with other governments around the world, they enact laws, and those laws are intended to make each and every one of us safe. Now, one of the laws that the United States government passed is the Organized Crime Control Act of 1970, and Title IX of the Organized Crime Control Act of 1970 is the Racketeer, Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, the RICO Act. It's anti-gang. And also the Comprehensive Drug Abuse Prevention and Control Act of 1970, the Controlled Substance Act, the Psychotropic Substances Act, the Continuing Criminal Enterprise Statute, or Kingpin Statute. Is all anti-gang. Now, also, the Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention Act of 1974 it established the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention. It's, plus other related legislation. Is all anti-gang. The Comprehensive Anti-Gang Initiative, Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, and Comprehensive Gang Model, the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, the Office of Justice Program, and the United States Department of Justice. The Office of Justice Program, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, United States Department of Justice, Comprehensive Anti-Gang Initiative, and Project Safe Neighborhoods. The United States Department of Justice, Office of Community-Oriented Policing Service, Comprehensive Anti-Gang Initiative. The Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, United States Department of Justice, Office of Justice Program, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs, United States Department of State, the Institute for Intergovernmental Affairs, Gang Resistance, Education and Training, the GREAT Program. The United States Department of Justice, Office of Justice Program, the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention. In October 2009, the National Youth Gang Center, which had been funded by the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention since 1995, merged with the National Gang Center which have been funded by the Bureau of Justice Assistance since 2003. The National Gang Center, compilation of state laws against gangs. Now, you can go to the National Gang Center website and be informed about state laws against gangs. Gang prevention. An overview of research and program of Mr. James C. Howe, the Office of Juvenile Justice and Linkage Prevention, the United States Department of Justice, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, the Office of Juvenile Justice and Linkage Prevention National Gang Center Bulletin. And the title of that bulletin, History of Street Gangs in the United States. Now there are books in the bulletin. Read the books in the bulletin. Also, you can go to Wikipedia. You can find the same information, and it'll be titled Gangs in the United States. The United States Department of Justice, Officer of the United States Attorney's Manual 1457, Criminal Street Gang Statute 18, United States Code 521. The United States Department of Justice, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, National Gang Intelligence Center, the United States Department of Justice, Organized Crime and Gang Section, and other federal, state, and local agencies. The United States Department of Justice, Office of the Justice Program, National Institute of Justice, Anti-Gang Strategies, Prevention, Intervention, Assessment, and Suppression. The United States Department of Justice, Office of Justice Program, National Institute of Justice, United States Department of Health and Human Services, Center for Disease Control and Prevention, National Center for Injury Prevention and Control, Changing Course, Preventing Gang Membership, and also striving to reduce youth violence everywhere. The United States Department of Justice, United States Department of Education, United States Department of Health and Human Services, United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, United States Department of Labor, and the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy. The National Forum on Youth Violence Prevention Forum. You can go to youth.gov and you can be informed about the National Forum on Youth Violence Prevention, as well as the Comprehensive Anti-Gang Initiative and the Comprehensive Gang Model. The United States Department of Justice, Bureau of Justice Assistance, National Crime Prevention Council, keeping kids out of gangs. And also anti-hazing. You can go to lawyers.com and be informed about anti-hazing. Now, this is a world map. People all over the world. This is a world map. People all over the world. Now, as we continue to educate and inform ourselves about this criminal behavior and conduct, using the German word gang and gang plus stir, boss, goon, and Latin abbreviation mob for mobile, and also the Indian word thug, and some other words like Mac and player, hustler, stone, just words, period. Pimp, hoe, just words. People just throw words out. Like I said, those words, German, Latin, but there are other European people who were not involved, did not participate in the East African, West African slave trade. And the Albanian speaking people were not involved, and they did not participate in the East African or West African slave trade. The Albanian speaking people were not involved, and they did not participate in the East African or West African slave trade. Now, the Baltic speaking people are the European nation, East European nation of Lithuania and Latvia. The Baltic speaking people, they were not involved, they did not participate in the East African or West African slave trade. Now, the Greek-speaking people in the East European nation of Greece, the Greeks were not involved. They did not participate in the East African or West African slave trade. Now, the Slavic-speaking people in Slavic nations are Russia, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Poland, Bulgaria, Belarus, and Ukraine. Also, the former Yugoslavian republics of Serbia, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Slovenia, Montenegro, Macedonia, and Kosovo. They are all Slavic speaking people. They were not involved. They did not participate in the East African or West African slave trade. Now, the East European nation of Turkey, also referred to as Anatolia, the Turkic language, Turkish-speaking people, the Altaic language, That's what the Turkish language is classified up under Altaic. The Altaic-speaking people in Turkey, as well as in other places on the earth, they were not involved. They did not participate in the East African, West African slave trade. The Ottomans in Turkey, they were not involved. They did not participate in the East African or West African slave trade. Also, the Uralic speaking people, East European nations of Hungary, Finland, Estonia. The Uralic speaking people, they were not involved. They did not participate in the East African or West African slave trade. Also, the East European nation of Romania. Now, Romania is a Latin speaking people. The Romanian people are Latin speaking people. And as you know, Latin is considered a Romance language. And other Romance languages such as French, Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, as well as Romania. Now, Romania is also referred to as Wallachia, and there are other provinces of Moldova and Transylvania. Now, Romania does have a history of slavery. The people who were enslaved were the Roma people. And the Roma people are people that are also known as the Gypsies. The Roma people are people that came from India. And the Roma people not only live in Romania, but they also live in other European nations as well. And as I said, Romania does have a history of slavery, and slavery of the Roma people. It ended in the early to mid 1800s, and the government of Romania abolished slavery. They abolished slavery. In legal terms, when you abolish, it means not only did you stop, but it means that it was wrong. So the Romanian government not only tells the Roma people they don't know, but they also telling the Romanian people that slavery was wrong. They abolished slavery. Now, the Romanian people also have during World War II, the fascist government, Adolf Hitler, the Germans, committed atrocities against the Romanian people. And the Jews, as well as Christians, as well as just Romanian people, period, were murdered and killed by the Germans. There were over 100,000 Romanian Jews and Christians, as well as Romanian people, who were murdered and killed by the Germans, as well as over 10,000 Roma people who were murdered or killed by the Germans. And as you know, Adolf Hitler in history is considered to be one of the most evil persons ever lived on this earth, besides the devil himself. And like I said, Romania, the Romanians were not involved. They did not participate in the East African or West African slave trade. Now, and also coercion, coerce, sexual coercion, psychological coercion, psychological manipulation, psychological abuse, coercion, coerce, sexual coercion, psychological coercion, psychological manipulation, psychological abuse. Now, we continue to refer to the dictionary as well as encyclopedias. If anybody has an encyclopedia, we look for the word gang, gang plus stir, mob, mob plus stir, thug, any other word that criminals use for negative influence. And I have a Merriam-Webster dictionary. It's copyright. And the copyright is 2004. Copyright 2004. Also, Merriam-Webster thesaurus. Copyright 2005. Oxford Paperback Dictionary and Thesaurus. And this is the third edition. Copyright 2001, 2007, 2009. And copyright 2010, the first edition 2002, second edition 2006, third edition 2010. Now just to review, as you know, on my Periscope video yesterday, we was continue to address the timeline, and the reason why it's important for us to establish time, because people have been lying. My life, as well as other people's lives, have been affected by people who have been walking around lying, such as sororities and fraternities. Now, the sororities and the fraternities, not only at the historical Black College and University, we know that there are African Americans who go to these other institutions of higher learning, as well as the Germans and the Latins who live here in America, and they belong to these sororities and these fraternities, and they've been lying. And they come around slavery. As you know, the Africans were forcibly brought over here to be slaves. The original 13 colonies, and Africans were brought over here to be slaves, and but denied education, were not even allowed to have any type of education except what the slave master taught you, which was taught you to just say yes boss, no boss, and all this. Just the only thing you spoke out your mouth is what the slave master taught you. Slave master taught you to say gang, and to say mob, say thug, say goon, say boss, and that's all you know. So after the Civil War, we have a timeline. After the Civil War, African Americans really were not educated on the East Coast as well as anywhere else, because the United States didn't look the way it looked today. We didn't have all the states we have today. You still had territories and things of that nature even after the Civil War. Now, let's get to the 1900s, when you start seeing historically Black colleges and universities, and the influence in the African American community that the sororities and the fraternities have, and as well as some of these civil and social organizations, but mainly the so-called sorority and fraternity, the influence that the sorority and fraternity have in the African American community. And there were dictionaries at the time. You understand? There were dictionaries at the time. And so that's what we was establishing, that people were going around lying, but yet and still they had dictionaries. Didn't want to do what's right by the African American. You want to accuse the Germans and the Latins of mistreating African people. Then you turn around and lie to African people yourself. Then you go to school and claim you got education at the historical Black College and University, and then you turn around and use your education to oppress African Americans yourself by lying. See, this is the reason why we established a timeline with the dictionary, as if, you know what I'm saying, we just not found out about the word gang 10 years ago. And we've been trying to get everybody to stop it. You ain't been trying to do a damn thing, but just keep lying. Now, when you say sorority and fraternity, I'm not saying that that's right. But what we're talking about is the influence. That's the point we want to make. Is that the influence that the sorority and fraternity have in the African American community. We'll deal with that word sorority and fraternity just like we're dealing with gang and mob. Mob, not even a word. Mob is an abbreviation of mobile. So we established a timeline about the dictionary, and that people who had influence in the African American community, you had a dictionary to teach you, first of all, what the word gang means, as well as what the word, what the abbreviation mob means, thug means, goon and boss, and all these other words that you use around African American people. And you don't have the right to lie to anybody. You don't have the right to lie to anybody. So we established a timeline. Let me go to Wikipedia right fast. Wikipedia, as you know, is a reference. Now, like I said, we're going to review. Okay, Webster's Dictionary. The first edition, 1828. Now we know in 1828, the timeline of the Civil War had not been fought here in the United States of America. So we know that's out of the question, because you were still a slave. We as African American, we were still slaves. So the second edition of Webster's American Dictionary of the English Language. But this is what we want to make sure. That dictionary, that first edition, it was still a dictionary. Don't forget, it was still a dictionary. That first edition in 1828. So for all these historically black colleges and universities, that dictionary is still a dictionary. Even though you was a slave, when you became not a slave but free, when you became free, that dictionary was still a dictionary, and the word gang was in that dictionary. The abbreviation mob was in that dictionary. The second edition, 1841. Then, right, second edition, 1841. So let's scroll on up here. And that dictionary, it was still available, because the Webster Company, they still had that dictionary available for the English language. What's the title again? What's the title? It's the American Dictionary of the English Language. The American Dictionary of the English Language. First edition, 1828. Second edition, 1841. That dictionary was still available. It's the English language. So the word gang was in that dictionary. The abbreviation mob is in that dictionary. Going around line. Now, okay. Okay, I'm looking at the unabridged edition. It was the unabridged edition, 1864. The Civil War had not been fought yet. So you were still a slave. African American was still slaves on the plantation. You had more states. We had more states now. It wasn't just the 13 colonies. You had more states, and now the states finna fight a civil war about slavery. See, the dictionary. See, this is what the dictionary had played an important part in the Civil War, because when you know the meaning of words, the North and the South fought. You think the dictionary wasn't being used? Do you think that the Germans and Latins weren't reading the dictionary? Yes, they was. They were reading the dictionary. Because if you don't know the meaning of the words that you speak English language, you don't know the meaning of the words, how you gonna use the word? How you gonna use the English language? Now, Webster's International Dictionary, 1890, 1900. By that time, the Civil War had been fought and was over with. It was over. So now, African Americans not on a slave plantation. Now you got sharecropping and Jim Crow, segregation. But you also had, you started, noticing these historically black colleges and universities. and they had a dictionaries available. In the dictionary, like I say, you had the first and second edition of the American Dictionary of the English Language. You had the first and second edition. It was still available to be read, so you can find out what the word gang means, and you can find out what the abbreviation mob means more at these historically black colleges and universities. Now, Webster's New International Dictionary, 1909. Then you have Webster's New International Dictionary, the second edition, 1934. Now you're starting to get to because of World War One. By the time 1934, World War I, the First World War, it had already been fought and was over. So 1934, that second edition, the dictionary, Webster's Dictionary, and also we're gonna get to the Oxford English Dictionary. So we're building a timeline. Okay, like I said, we had Webster's New International Dictionary, the second edition, 1934. Then let's get on up to the move on to the Webster's third New International Dictionary, 1961. 1961. Webster's third New International. Now those other dictionaries, they were still available. They were still available. And the word gang plus stir, mob, the abbreviation mob for mobile, it was in the dictionary. Thug, goon, boss, all that was in there. It was in there. Webster's third New International Dictionary of the English Language unabridged, commonly known as Webster's Third or W3, in September 1961. So all these historically black colleges and universities, see, the civil rights movement had started then, because after World War II, they desegregated the armed forces. All armed forces were desegregated. And then after you desegregated the armed forces, we started the process of desegregating the whole American society. The civil rights movement got started really after World War II, during the 1950s. Now we had all these historical black colleges and universities, all these sororities and fraternities, the influence in the community. The dictionary was available. The dictionary was available. Like I said, scroll back to 1934. The Webster's New International Dictionary, second edition, 1934. Before World War II. Before World War II, it was available. So, going around lying about the word gang. Going around lying about the word gang. And gang plus stir, and abbreviation mob and mobile. Going around lying. Webster's Third New International Dictionary, 1961. But the title of Webster's Third New International Dictionary of the English Language unabridged. Then you had your revisions and updates. So we get in the timeline. The revisions and updates since 1961 has reprinted the main text of the dictionary with only minor corrections To add new words, they created an addenda section in 1966, included in the front map. Included in the front matter, which was expanded in 1971, 1976, 1981, 1986, 1993, and 2002. Is no excuse. No excuse. No excuse. Now, as you know, Merriam-Webster was purchased by Encyclopedia Britannica in 1964. A 3-volume version was issued for many years as a supplement to the encyclopedia. Now, then you had also the collegiate dictionaries as well. And that's something that should be also noted. These historical black colleges and universities, the Webster Company also had the collegiate dictionaries. The first one, 1898. The second in 1910. The third, 1916. The fourth, 1931. The fifth, 1936. The sixth, 1949. The seventh, 1963. The 8th, 1973, the 9th, 1983, the 10th, 1993, and the 11th, 2003. No excuse. No excuse. And then you also had the that's the Oxford English Dictionary. Now let's go over here to the Oxford English Dictionary. Like I said, no excuse. No excuse. No excuse. As you know, the Oxford English Dictionary is a descriptive dictionary of the English language published by the Oxford University Press. It traces the historical development of the English language, providing a comprehensive resource to scholars and academic researchers, as well as describing using in many variations throughout the world. The second edition came to 21,728 pages in 20 volumes, published in 1989. They said work began on the dictionary in 1857, but it was not until 1884 that it began to be published in unbound fascicles, as work continued on the project under the name of a new English dictionary on historical principles, founded mainly on the materials collected by the Philological Society. In 1895, In 1895, the title, the Oxford English Dictionary, was first used unofficially on the covers on the series, and in 1928, the full dictionary was republished in 10 bound volumes. Excuse me. Okay, let's scroll down here. Scroll down. Okay, the completion of first edition and first supplement. The 125th and last fascicle cover words from Wise to the end of W. Excuse. Like I said, we scroll down. We had completion of first edition and first supplement, and was published on 19 April 1928. And the full dictionary bound volumes followed immediately. It says that between 1928 and 1933, enough additional material had been compiled to make a one-volume supplement. So the dictionary was reissued as a set of 12 volumes and a one-volume supplement in 1933. 1933, before World War II. Then you had a second supplement. In 1933, Oxford had finally put the dictionary to rest. All work in it and the quotation slips went into storage. However, the English language continued to change, and by the time 20 years had passed, the dictionary was outdated. There were three possible ways to update it. The cheapest would have been to leave the existing work alone and simply compile a new supplement, or perhaps one or two volumes. But then anyone looking for a word or sense and unsure of his age will have to look in three different places. Okay, so let me see here.
Sunday church services turned into a massacre in Texas. 26 people, starting at age 2, gunned down. Another 20 are injured. Good morning, everybody. I'm Mallory Calvin. It is a somber Monday, November 6th.
Mallory Freeman,
Let me scroll.
we have President Trump's response to that church shooting. That's going to be coming up here at 6 o'clock hour.
And back at home, the search continues for the report accused killer. Accused of killing people in Tennessee and Mississippi.
So let me see here. 19. Okay, it took 29 years. (1972), 1976, 1982, 1986. Dictionary 16 volumes. Count the first supplement. That's a second, okay. Second edition. The word new. Oxford English Dictionary 2 was printed in 20 volumes. So it was 20 volumes. And then when I reprint version. So the second edition, published in 1989. Then you had your edition series, Oxford English Dictionary Edition, Volume 1, 2, 3. Back edition, 1971. Let's see, come back. Oxford English Dictionary, second edition, 1991. Then you had an electronic version. Still scrolling. Still scrolling. like I said, we had edition series, Oxford English Dictionary edition series, volume 1, volume 2, and volume 3, 1994, third edition. That's online. Now you had your compact edition, 1971. 13 volume Oxford English Dictionary 1, 1933, was reprinted as a 2-volume compact edition. Right. Came with a slipcase drawer and a magnifying glass. English Dictionary second edition, 1991. Now this the first volume 1, A through G. Copyright 1986. Gang, Middle English, from Old English akin to Old High German. Gang, act of going. Old Norse ganger, act of going. Goth, gang, street. Number 1, the act, manner, or means of going. Passage, course, journey. Passage, way, road, lane. A pasture for cattle. Chiefly Scottish. Journey. One undertaking to perform an errand, chiefly Scottish down Mount Ayers Wood. A set of full complement of articles, outfit, gang of order. That's an adventure. a combination of similar implements or other items arranged so as to act together to save time or labor. A gang of saws, that's an invention. Or to produce in one operation or as one unit. A gang of printing plates printing several jobs on a single sheet. And number of individuals making up a group of persons working under the same direction or at the same task. Okay, so alright, let me move over. Okay, gang is a verb. To attack a person as a gang. To assemble or operate mechanical or electronic parts simultaneously. Group circuits gang together by gears. That's an invention. To arrange in or produce as a gang. Alright, gang number 3. Middle English ganging. To go, walk. From Old English gang, akin to old high journey. Gang, to go. Old North gang. Gang, to go. Old English. Gang, acting, going. Scottish, go. Yeah, gangster. Okay. Gang, then you have a spell on a syllable break. You have a syllable break. And then stir. A member of a gang of criminals, a gunman, thug, a person who uses violence, intimidation, or other extra-legal means of coercion for business ends. Racketeer, some kind of syndicate that controls stores and nightclubs. All right. Okay, mob. Okay. Verb, mob, mobbing, mob. Okay. Okay, mob number 3 is the lower classes of the community, the populace, or the lower part of it, masses. A large and disorderly collection of people tending to act of violence. People in a large disorderly group used without an article. A flock, drove, or herd of animals. A criminal set or organization. Right, then you have mob again. To crowd about an attack or annoy. Hunters before he could enter the theater attack in a mob to crowd into or around. Then you have the abbreviation mob, mobile, mobilization, mobilize. That's what it is. It's an abbreviation of mobile. Okay, then let's go over to mobster. Okay. Mob plus stir. A member of a criminal gang. I did get my book, The Oxford Ologies and Isms, Word Beginnings and Endings by Michael Queen. Copyright 2002. Stir, S-T-E-R, stir, a personal thing associated with an activity or quality. Old English. E-S, is Old English, E, that history. Say, early example refer to a woman engaged in an occupation such as brewster, maltster, or spinster. This last originally a woman who spins. The ending was the feminine equivalent of words ended in E-R-E, which later became E-R-C-E-R. It's long been extended to activities undertaken by men, such as chorister or teamster. Words in which it refers to a characteristic of the person include youngster, and the U.S. derived oldster, as well as hipster, a person who is hip, who follows the latest trends and fashions. Less often the ending refers to objects, roadster being a rare example. It often has a derogatory sense, tipster, rhymester, or prankster. Many of these are more common in the U.S. than Britain. Gangster, huckster, jokester, mobster, punster, trickster. Such terms continue to be formed again most frequently in the U.S. popster, hipster, soulster, scamster. Master comes from Old English magister, but derives from Latin magister. See also meister. Others that derive from Latin words with the same ending include minister and barrister, formed from bar, an imitation of minister. As do nouns ending in aster, such as postaster, and words such as boaster, jester, broadcaster, and protester. The suffix is er on a stem ending with the st. Okay, so oh yeah, okay. Just a reminder. Like we talked about yesterday, you can get a subscription, Merriam-Webster, Unabridged Dictionary, 1 month, $4, $4, 1 month subscription. A 1 year subscription, Merriam-Webster Unabridged Dictionary, $30, $30. Oxford English Dictionary, 1 month. 1 month dictionary, 1 month subscription, $30. Now, a 1 year subscription, Oxford English Dictionary, is like $300. They just said round it on out to $300. But a 1 year, a 1 month subscription, Oxford English Dictionary, $30. Now, people that want to horseplay, you provoke, such as all this East Coast stuff, up and down the East Coast, and you want to provoke somebody, well, you know, out there in Los Angeles, want to provoke somebody, horse playing, like I told you on my video yesterday, and you know, these man-made religious organizations. Romans chapter 16 verse 16, salute one another with an holy kiss. The church, suffix es, of Christ salute you. Second Thessalonians chapter 1 verse number 4, so that we ourselves glory you in the church with the suffix es, of God, for your patient faith and all your persecution and tribulation, may ye endure. Before I end today's video, you know, we always go to the Holy Bible, and you know, there are 3 places in the Holy Bible where they lie. Talking about Christian. Acts chapter 11 verse 26. The second place is Acts chapter 26 verse 28. The third place is 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 16, and also 2 Peter chapter 3 verses 15 through 18. And also the apostle self-proclaimed Apostle Paul, Saul from Tarsus, the lies he told. Acts chapter 9, the conversion of Saul. Then Acts chapter 22, Acts chapter 22, verse 9. Verse number 9. Acts chapter 26, verses 13 and 14. 13 and 14. Again, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis, County Sheriff, State of Tennessee. Thank all my family, my support for your continued encouragement and support. Always put God first. Till next time, take care of yourself. Wish each and every one of your very best.